Hey, Future Griffins. My name is Lauren, and I am the Acting Liaison Officer National and Transfer Recruitment here at the University of Guelph. And welcome to the BC Specific webinar. I'm so excited to be here with all of you tonight and to be sharing a little bit about the place that I call my second home, the UFG. Before we get started, I do want to acknowledge that the University of Guelph resides on the lands of the Between the Lakes Treaty Number 3, the territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit. This land is a part of the Dish with One Spoon, a covenant between Indigenous nations to live peaceably on the territories of the Great Lakes region. We recognize that this gathering place is home to many First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples, and by acknowledging them, it reminds us of our responsibility to the lands where we learn, live, and work. In my presentation today, I will be covering admissions, finances, student life, our campus, and so much more. If you have any questions throughout the presentation tonight, definitely ask them in the Q&A as my colleague Jessie is there and ready to answer all of your questions. I remember being in your shoes not too long ago, trying to figure out where I would be for my next 4 or 5 years of study. I remember feeling like the weight of the world was on my shoulders. I remember sitting down at that time with my mom and researching almost every university within a 3-hour car ride. And for me, the University of Guelph was actually last on my list. This is because I was raised in the city of Guelph. So I figured that I would pack my bags, head out of the city, and experience living on my own for the first time in a brand new city. After diving a little bit deeper into my research, I found that the University of Guelph is not only a beautiful campus with red interlocking bricks guiding you from one stone building to the next, and red maple leaf trees lining Johnston Green, where you will see people playing Frisbee, having a picnic, or hosting a group study session. But the warmth and the community of the UFG itself is a reason why I chose this place as my second home, and another reason why I haven't really left since. I graduated from the Bachelor of Arts, majoring in criminal justice and public policy with a minor in family and child studies. Throughout my time at the U of G, I played on a few different intramural teams, I balanced 2 part-time jobs, and I played competitive hardball for the city of Guelph. And today, your journey begins. At the UFG, we aim to improve lives of not only our students, but local and international communities. Every year, we receive over $146 million in annual research funding. This is more than any other school in Canada that does not have a medical school. And we are committed to not only feeding your mind through academics, but your stomach, as we are ranked one of the best places in Canada for our best campus foods. Additionally, over 90% of our graduates will find employment within 6 months of graduating. I was amongst this 90% as I initially pursued a career as a child and youth counselor working with young offenders, and then recognized my love for counseling and advising, and slowly made my way back to my roots and my home away from home, the UFG. You will be welcomed not only to campus, but to the city of Guelph with smiling faces, as we are known as a friendly city. Some of my favorite sights and sounds are on screen right now, everything from getting chocolate peanut butter ice cream cup at the light pink boathouse overlooking the Speed River, to heading to Market Fresh, a family-owned shop downtown Guelph, where I would get a delicious panini or do my weekly grocery shopping there. The unemployment and crime rate is among some of the lowest in all of the country, and there is multiple modes of transportation to get yourself from Toronto. Toronto is only about a 45-minute drive west of the city of Guelph. From the moment I applied to the second I stepped foot on campus, I never felt like just another 7-digit student number. I was immediately welcomed with open arms and smiling faces, and the UFG had my back before even moving in. I got involved in something called Start Online, where I was able to connect with other future Griffins about what to bring to residence life. This saved me probably 4 or 5 hours wandering around mindlessly in IKEA, just trying to figure out what to bring and what I would need. I was then welcomed into residence during orientation week with claps and cheers, and the cheers only got louder as O week went on. Blind Date with a Book, SAM, the Student Athlete Mentorship Program, or Take a Pause, which involves cuddling with adorable therapy dogs, are all different programs put into place to support your mental health and your well-being. We also completed a recent renovation to our building on campus, our wellness building, and as someone who's a huge advocate for mental health, definitely we are there to provide a listening ear or to get you through those tough times. Now that we know a little bit about the campus and a little bit about what to expect, let's get into admission. And you'll find all of our admission information at admission.uoguelph.ca, and we'll get started with our admission requirements. From our landing page, select the Admission Information tab on the black banner at the top of the page. and then choose the Ontario Admission Requirements Chart link to launch our digital viewbook on pages 74 and 75. The first column lists each of our degree programs with a corresponding page number where you can find additional information in the digital viewbook. This second column lists each major within that degree program. A red box means that the major is available with a co-op option. The third and fourth columns list required courses. Please refer to the National Course Equivalency Chart for subject requirements specific to your province. The fifth column lists estimated cutoff ranges. These ranges indicate an average of cutoffs over the last 3 years and are meant to be used as a guide. It's important to note that cutoff averages change year to year, and having an average that falls within this range does not guarantee that you will receive an offer of admission. And the final column lists important notes. Please be sure to read these, as some programs have additional admission criteria or recommended courses that you should be aware of. Back on the Admission Information tab under the Ontario Admission Requirements Chart, choose the National Course Equivalency Chart link to launch our digital viewbook on page 76. Here you will find specific subject requirements categorized by province. As a student in British Columbia, we are looking for 5 academic grade 12 courses, including specific subjects. For example, the English requirement, we are looking for English 12 or English Studies 12. Once you've determined which programs you are interested in applying to and have confirmed that you have the required courses needed to apply, you'll have to make your application through the Ontario University's Application Centre. And you'll find more information on how to apply to Guelph at admission.uoguelph.ca/how-to. Please note that the application deadline for early consideration is January 15th. I want to highlight a very important supplementary form that you all should be completing as part of your application to Guelph. The student profile form provides you with the opportunity to tell us about non-academic factors that may have affected your grades, including extracurricular activities, illness, or other extenuating circumstances. We strongly encourage all of you to complete this form, even if you believe your admission average will fall within the estimated cutoff range, as admission cutoffs change year to year. The submission deadline for this form is May 1st, 2021. Check out admission.uoguelph.ca/FAQ for more information on the student profile form, as well as information for students with disabilities, details on the International Baccalaureate program and advanced placement courses, as well as our English proficiency requirements. On screen now, you'll find our admission plan, which explains when we will be sending out offers of admission and how we will be calculating your admission average. We will begin sending out offers in late January and will continue to do so through May as grades are submitted. In each round of offers, we are looking for 5 grade 12 courses and we'll use required subjects in calculating your admission average. We will use grade 11 courses where grade 12 courses are not available. For more detailed information on the admission average calculation and cutoff averages for each round, please read this chart and compare it with the estimated cutoff ranges listed in the admission requirements chart in the digital viewbook. At the University of Guelph, we are committed to an accessible university education, as we believe that every student who is academically qualified to attend university should be able to, regardless of financial obstacles. This is why we provide you with lots of assistance, including over $24 million in merit and needs-based scholarships and bursaries. On admission.uoguelph.ca/funding, you'll see that Guelph does a number of other things to help you out financially, including over 4,000 on-campus jobs, the support from financial aid counselors, and the administration of government student loans. Just search through hundreds of available scholarships. Check out our scholarship search tool online. Our most prestigious awards are the President's and Lincoln Alexander Scholarships. They are each worth $42,000, payable over 4 years, and include the opportunity to partake in a research assistantship worth $9,000. These awards require a student application with a deadline of January 25th. Applicants who do not receive these prestigious awards will be automatically considered for one of 35 academic leadership awards worth $20,000. The Board of Governors scholarships are our top academic awards worth $20,000, also payable over 4 years. Our University of Guelph entrance scholarships are guaranteed awards based on your admission average. The minimum admission average required to receive an entrance scholarship is 85%. The final two words I want to highlight are very important. The accessibility and registrar's entrance bursaries are based on demonstrative financial needs, and they require you to complete an online application that will be due by April 15th. Learn more at admission.uoguelph.ca/funding. And at the bottom of that page, you'll find a summary of costs related to attending university, which we hope is helpful to you as you begin to plan for next fall. Now that we've covered a little bit about admissions and finances, let's dive into our degree programs. And we'll get started with the program that I graduated from, the Bachelor of Arts. This program offers over 20 majors and 50 minors. A passion of mine is playing the piano. And as a classically trained pianist since the age of 6, I admire those around me who share the same passion for music. As a music major, there is no audition or portfolio required. You can be creating new ensembles, learning about music composition and theory, all in our brand new performance space on campus. The amount of flexibility in this program is incredible. I originally applied into the general arts degree as I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. I then took a few different classes and found a strong interest in law, social justice, and human behavior. And that's when I declared criminal justice and public policy as my major. I remember being in second and third year and having mock debates in class, and I really had to find my voice and muster up the courage to speak on the certain debates we were having. And that's when I recognized how much support that I had from not only my classmates around me, but from my professors. And with our brand new major, Justice and Legal Studies, you too can be having mock debates. Picture yourself out in the community this time next year, working in a courthouse or a law firm, as this major does have a co-op option. I mentioned earlier that I worked as a child and youth counselor after graduating, and this allowed me to put the skills and the knowledge that I gained in the classroom into my everyday work. However, you don't have to wait until after graduation to help the lives of those around you in the Bachelor of Applied Science. Having declared a minor in Family and Child Studies in my second year, I had a lot of very similar classes with students in the Applied Sciences. I remember feeling so excited that my good friend Natasha and I had the same infant development class, and Natasha was in child studies as she wanted to become an elementary school teacher. She did graduate from the U of G, and then after her undergrad studies went off to Nipissing in their teachers college, and after graduating from that is now a grade 4 teacher in an elementary school. And Natasha will attribute her now success as a teacher to the over 500 practicum hours that she had of hands-on experience in her undergraduate studies. Guelph is also unique in that we are one of 4 in Ontario that is accredited in dietetics in our applied human nutrition major. Be a part of SNAP, Student Nutrition Awareness Program, where you could be teaching others about healthy living and nutrition. And you too can learn about how the food we eat affects the way we feel in the largest teaching and research facility of its kind in Canada, the Summerlee Science Complex. As a biological science major in the Bachelor of Science, you will be studying animals, plants, and other organisms that live on our planet. If you prefer chemistry and math, we have chemical physics, where you could be acquiring the skills and the knowledge to explore molecular systems. As a student in the Bachelor of Science, you will have access to top laboratories and research spaces in our $144 million state-of-the-art science complex. With surround sound in the common space and a second cup coffee shop, which I definitely have visited a few times, this is a perfect place to host study group parties. My friend Lindsay studied human kinetics at Guelph as she wanted to become a doctor. She volunteered on the first response team responding to medical emergencies, and she also took a class in our human anatomy lab, which is unique to the U of G. You too can take a prosection or a dissection course and be learning and working with real human cadavers. Lindsay took prep MCAT courses on campus in her undergrad studies, which helped her do very well in the exam, and I'm so proud to say that she is in her very first semester of medical school this fall. When speaking to Lindsay, she will thank her experiential learning opportunities to get her where she is today. As a student in co-op, you will begin with your co-op 1100 course online. You will then be matched with a co-op coordinator who will help you write your resume, your cover letter, and you'll learn the ins and outs of interviewing. And they will be by your side through your whole co-op journey. All co-op positions range from 3 to 5 terms. They are full-time and paid. Alongside co-op, I will be the first to tell you there's many other ways to get involved, specifically through experiential learning opportunities. In my last year's at Griffin, I traveled to Fiji, where I volunteered in a village, helping to run fresh water, rebuilding the local school, and facilitating nutritional workshops. I then took advantage of being halfway across the world, and I went backpacking through New Zealand and Australia with 2 of my best friends. And this is still one of my most memorable experiences to date. And if any of you have the travel bug like I did, and I often still do, let's fly on over to the Center for International Programs. Study social justice in Costa Rica or culture and migration in the Netherlands. You don't have to wait until after graduation to explore the world. As a student at Guelph, you can take a field course, a summer, or a full semester abroad. With over 33 countries to choose from, you can make new friends, enhance your transferable skills, and travel to new and exciting destinations, all while receiving study credits and still continuing to pay UFG tuition. I don't know about any of you, but when I was preparing for online presenting and learning, I had to adjust to a lot of new technologies. And currently I am using the software Zoom to bring you all this presentation. And as a student in the Bachelor of Computing program, you will have the flexibility to bring your ideas and creations to life while solving everyday problems in society. Let's talk about the differences that we have between the two majors. As a computer science student, you would be responsible for writing the code for Zoom. Whereas a software engineer, you'd be more concerned with the experience that I had with the platform. So would I give Zoom a 5-star rating? Computing at Guelph gives you the ability to explore areas beyond computer science, as you will focus on an area of application. A few years ago, students in computer science built an app to connect donors with local food banks. The donors will receive a notification on the app to let them know what was in high demand at the food bank. The students have reached an audience of over 500,000, and they are currently working with a marketing team to expand their message Canada-wide. That marketing team can thank our Gordon Lang School of Business and Economics for their knowledge in the area. Last year, we received a $21 million gift to name our business school. The money is now being used to boost international case competitions, experiential learning opportunities, and hire new faculty. A friend of mine, Ryan, was a graduate from Management, Economics, and Finance, where he was president of the Finance Club. He was given $100,000 by Fidelity to just play the stock market. You can apply your leadership skills to real-life situations by pursuing a co-op in one of the 9 majors offered. My friend Andy studied hospitality and tourism management, and for one of her co-ops, she traveled out to the West Coast where all of you are and completed a co-op with a hotel director. She learned about hotel operations and consumer behavior, and she is now a manager at a hotel in downtown Toronto. Andy and I would stay connected through various social media apps, and I would love to stay connected with all of you after my presentation today through our admissions Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and YouTube channel. Just the other day, we featured Professor Andy Robinson, who is planning to bring his hobby farm and his miniature donkeys virtually to animal science students this fall to help with lessons in the Bachelor of Science in Agriculture. Now, agriculture goes beyond farming. It looks at bringing healthy and nourishable food to the world while using land and resources responsibly. For example, a Guelph professor is currently breeding fruits like plums and cherries to increase their antioxidant properties that fight cancer. In crop horticulture, turfgrass sciences, there's special emphasis on technology, and you could be exploring plants, crops, and soil temperature all through the use of a drone, right on campus in our extensive state-of-the-art greenhouse facilities. And you can see it for yourself by visiting our campus virtually on our admissions website. And while you're there, follow the red bricks all the way from the greenhouses to the heart of campus, Bradian Plaza. Recognized as a very important study and gathering space on campus, Bradian Plaza was redesigned by one of our very own, a professor in the Bachelor of Landscape Architecture just a few years ago. Also known as BLA, this is the only English-speaking accredited program of its kind in Canada and is the 2nd largest in the world. You too could be redesigning the spaces where we live, work, and play. The practical hands-on learning, everything from 3D modeling to 3D printing and Adobe Suites, you'll be well prepared to tackle all internship and experiential learning opportunities. You too could then be working alongside our graduates who are currently in China, working on a $1 billion amusement park. Or you could work for EA Games, helping to enhance the overall user's experience. Do not forget to submit the background information form that is due by March 1st, as this is mandatory for your application to this program. At the University of Guelph, we take pride in offering hands-on learning and opportunities in many of our programs. In the Bachelor of Engineering, all students will complete a design project each year. A few years ago, just last year, a few students were given a Hollow Kinder egg, asked to build a toy, then asked to disassemble the toy back inside of the egg as their design project. Our engineering building, Thornborough, is one of the most environmentally friendly facilities on campus. We even have a rooftop lab where our environmental engineering students are looking at new air pollution monitoring tools. With 24-hour lab access and access to a wellness room that includes hammocks, games, and even a kitchenette, you'll be physically and mentally well prepared to tackle all design projects. With co-op available in each of the 7 majors, there's endless opportunities to get that hands-on approach. For example, a biomedical engineering student studying ways to improve human health completed one of their co-ops at the Harvard Medical Center, where he worked with an NBA player on perfecting his running gait. Changing strides, maybe you prefer thoroughbred horses or fluffy cute kittens, but you also have the Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, which is ranked #1 in Canada and one of the oldest and most prestigious in the world. You cannot apply to OVC right from high school, but we do have lots of different programs and majors that you can take where you can obtain all the necessary courses needed to apply. My friend Kylie graduated from OVC and now specializes in small animal care. In Kylie's undergraduate studies, she volunteered at the Look Humane Society. She also got involved with many different veterinarians and many different clubs on campus. The Future Vets Club and also Full Watch. It's a great way to meet industry professionals and to learn about other work and volunteer opportunities. And you too could be working alongside the veterinarians in our stables in the Bachelor Bioresource Management program. This program combines science, technology, and business into all 3 majors. In equine management, this has everything to do with horses, as the name states, everything from physiology to biology and the equine industry. Brand new this fall, we have 8 brand new horses that are there for our students to work alongside. Or like Matthew, who's pictured on screen now in environmental management, you could be completing a group research project that is looking at redesigning the City of Guelph's groundwater system for the next 30 years. With ample amount of opportunities to obtain experiential learning credits, past students in food industry management have traveled to cheese and ice cream factories to learn about their food operations. We previously talked about the arts and about the sciences, but why don't we close the divide and declare a specialization from each of the disciplines in the Bachelor of Arts and Sciences. As a criminal justice and public policy major, 2 of my favorite TV shows are Criminal Minds and CSI. I'm quite intrigued by the work that the forensic crime scene investigators do. And within this program, you can go into career in forensics by combining a minor in criminal justice and public policy with a minor in biochemistry. The flexibility in this program is incredible. You can choose from over 40 different specializations. What about a career in art therapy? You can combine a minor in neuroscience with studio arts. As a graduate from this program, you will develop well-rounded traits of resiliency and balance, and graduates say that they have an advantage as they view the world from many different lenses. And within our brand new program, the Bachelor of Indigenous Environmental Science and Practice, students will take on a new perspective and knowledge from Indigenous communities and elders. Become an agent of change and support the development of a new Canada, one that is responsive and respectful of Indigenous rights and restoration. As the world around us continues to change, the need for environmental stewards will continue to grow. This program will have you working directly with Indigenous communities and organizations, and you'll spend lots of time in our on-site arboretum, which spans over 400 acres. Be prepared to take classes on the Great Lakes, ecosystems, and biodiversity in Canada. Graduates from this program are choosing to go into careers in law, teaching, resource development, and environmental protection. I take part in being part of a campus that is committed to sustainability. We are currently building a $12 million facility to research one of the world's most important insects, the honeybee. Did you know that 1/3 of the food we eat depends on pollination? Well, as a student in the Bachelor of Science and Environmental Sciences program, you will focus on how to discover new ways to protect the environment while solve the world's most earth-shattering problems. For example, on a smaller scale, how can I get my pumpkin spice coffee fix in while still being environmentally friendly? Thanks to U of G researchers in environmental sciences, compostable coffee pods are available in almost all grocery stores. Within this program, you can individualize your studies and take advantage of the field courses offered. In the past, students enrolled in ecology have taken a field course and traveled to Ecuador, where they completed group experiments on insect behavior and pest management. In addition to the 13-degree programs that we offer, we also have the Diploma in Turfgrass Management. And you can find yourself working as a field sports manager at the BMO field where the Toronto FC plays. Or if you prefer the bright lights in the big city of Toronto, we have the University of Guelph Humber. They offer 7 unique degree programs. In just 4 years, you can graduate with both an honors degree and a diploma. I know that heading off to university can feel scary, but hopefully exciting. One of the best decisions that I made in first year was to live in residence. And residence is guaranteed for all first-year students, provided that residences are open to full capacity. We are committed to protecting the health of our students, and we will be following the direction of our public health unit in determining those safe residence capacities. There are still many unknowns with COVID-19, so we will be sure to keep you all updated on our housing website. I personally lived in a double room in the North residences as I really wanted a roommate and people who I called friends right from day one. But you can select from a variety of different living styles and options, everything from academic clusters, which includes the option to live with like-minded students and other students who are in the same program as you. Remember to pay the deposit of $750 by the June 1st deadline to secure your spot. The best memories that I had from residence are having movie nights, game nights, and heading to the grocery store weekly with my roommate to stock up the little mini fridge that we had in our room. It was also my birthday in the first few weeks of residence life, so I came back to my residence room with a birthday cake that was funfetti flavored. It looked all right, didn't taste the greatest, but it was a thought that counted, right? And lucky for me, all buildings on campus are only a 5 to 7 minute walk. So I was able to sneak off a little bit later that day and go to one of the many coffee shops that we have to grab a secondary birthday treat. And I cannot brag enough about the U of G campus food. There is a reason why we are ranked #1 in Canada. Even after graduation and moving back home, I would still head over to campus to get a good home cooked meal. If any of you have seen the show Friends, maybe you have binged it in the last little while, we have the Bullring on campus, which is a spitting image of Central Park. Kind of has that retro vibe, and we even have orange couches. Every Wednesday night, my friends and I would head there, and we would listen to live music. My go-to order was a cookie and a coffee, or a chicken Caesar wrap with fresh cut fries. All the dining halls on campus try to be sustainable in all operations, and we use fresh and local food from over 75 local farmers. You can choose from one of the many meal plan options and even take your dining experience off campus. So I would go to places like Milestones, Montana's, Eastside Mario's, and you can pay for your meal all through the tap of your student card. Now that we've discussed where you'll be living, what you'll be eating, how about the important question of how to stay healthy? As a Griffin, you will wear the red, black, and gold colors loud and proud. You will find the heart of the U of G in our athletics program. With a recent renovation to our athletics building, you now have over 22,000 square feet of space that includes 2 pools, 5 squash courts, 3 gyms, and a rock climbing wall. You also never have to miss out on your favorite TV show, as each of our cardio machines are equipped with Netflix. You can stop by the Fireplace Lounge afterwards to relax or grab a booster juice to refuel. A highlight of my time at the U of G was playing on intramural teams. This gave me a bit of a brain break from studies and it introduced me to a lot of new people. I remember trying bubble soccer for the first time. However, my memory is a little bit foggy as I spent a lot of this time just trying to stand on my 2 feet and it wasn't very good, but nonetheless, it was so much fun. And we offer over 200 different clubs, everything from pre-med to even Quidditch. If you don't see a club that you want to join, you can definitely start your own. And believe it or not, your time at the U of G will fly by in the blink of an eye. I still remember getting dropped off on the very first day by my parents, saying goodbye, and then organizing a few things in my room. I then heard a knock at the door and found 4 of my floor mates standing there asking if I wanted to go for ice cream. Little did I know over the next few years I would share all of my secrets and laugh until I cried with this group of amazing young women. A few years later, we crossed the graduation stage together, and we celebrated with more laughs and cries, although that day for us wasn't a goodbye, but a see you later. We are spread across North America, but we still stay in touch every single day. If there's one thing I want you to take from this presentation, it is that the U of G will support you in whatever path you choose to take. So keep tackling those essays and those exams, and just know that your fellow Griffins are here cheering you on. I thank you all so much for listening to my presentation, and I would love to continue this conversation with you. So I invite you to follow us on social media and also to book a one-on-one meeting with me. And we have an event coming up called Fall Preview Day, where you can get more of an in-glance depth into each of our degree programs and student services, and that is on Sunday, November 8th. I wish you all the best, and I hope that today for us, it isn't a goodbye, but a see you later. Thank you. That concludes the presentation portion of today here. So I'm going to invite Jessie on, who's been taking all of your awesome questions behind the scenes, and then she'll do a little bit of an introduction. Hi, Jessie.
Perfect. Thanks, Lauren. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for attending. I was the one answering your questions behind the scenes. A little bit about myself. I was a student at the University of Guelph back in 2013, and then I graduated in 2017. I was in the Bachelor of Applied Science program. I did a major in child studies and a minor in psychology. Along with working in recruitment, I've had a couple different positions. I started as a liaison officer. I was in Lauren's position for a little bit for the national and transfer recruitment. So I've had the privilege to head out west a few times and visit some of the incredible schools that we have and meet with our future Griffins. And then I also work in our athletics department as well. So it's been great chatting with you. And Lauren, we got some great questions during the presentation. So one that we'll address first is someone was just asking about, is residence open right now with COVID? And then maybe we could also talk about what students can expect for residence for fall 2021.
Yeah, that's a great question. So for this fall, there is limited space in residence, just we are following guidelines of our public health unit. So we had to make sure that students were physically distanced in residence and they each have their own individual bathrooms. So with that said, residence is very limited this fall. And also too, I just recommend, as I mentioned, following us on social media and also our housing website to get any updates about next year. As of right now, I don't have a crystal ball, so I can't really say what next year is going to look like. As of right now, residence is guaranteed. With that said, it's provided that residences are open to full capacity. So the best advice that I can give is just continue to follow us on social media and our housing website. And as soon as we have information, we will be sure to let you all know.
And just to add on that, if residence is open for next fall and you might be wondering, how am I supposed to pack up my things and move across the country? Lauren hosted a webinar a few weeks ago, and we actually had a student from BC join the presentation. She's an alumni of the U of G, and she just talked about her personal experience of researching universities in Ontario, why she chose Guelph, and she has some great suggestions on picking a university that's far from home, and she touched on some points about residence. So it'll be posted on our website very shortly, so you can always check out the webinar series website and watch that great presentation that Lauren and Solveig did last week. We had a couple of questions, Lauren, maybe just going over again. I know admission requirements can be a lot of information to take in. So where students can access that information, maybe we can talk a little bit about how they can request a view book to be sent to them.
Yeah, great question. I know it is a lot of information to take in, and we don't expect any of you to memorize it tonight. So with that said, all the information that I touched on today will be on our website, so admission.uofguelph.ca, and then that's where you can also request a view book. So you can either request for it to be downloaded, which is super accessible and very easy to do. If you prefer a mailed copy, like I definitely did, I like to kind of scratch things out and highlight and circle. That also is an option, and you can request for it to be mailed to you. So just on our admissions website, that's where you can find that information there. So in regards to admissions and also finances, and then our view book too.
Yeah, there was a great question as well with the President's Scholarship. So it's an awesome prestigious awards that we encourage all students who have a high admission average and have been very involved in their community to apply to. I just checked the website during the presentation, and the application is not open yet. It is an online application, so I just encourage you to keep checking the website, and it will be due January 25th. So continue monitoring that website. We also had a question, Lauren, about supplementary documentation. So maybe we could touch on that in the student profile form a little bit.
Definitely. So as I mentioned for DTM, so Diploma in Turf Grass Management, as well as the Bachelor of Landscape Architecture for supplementary forms, they do require a background information form. So what that means is that we just really want to know what research you've done into each of the different programs there, why you're so passionate about pursuing a program, that specific program. Then also for other supplementary forms, we have the student profile form. So that is really your opportunity to let us know how you got involved, volunteer opportunities, maybe you're an athlete, also to what may have impacted positively or negatively on your grades. That's a really great form that you can access, and we highly encourage all of you to complete the form. The form we look at in the third round of offers, but with that said, it definitely doesn't hurt to submit. As we mentioned, admission averages change year to year. So the ones that we have listed, they're an average over the last 3 years. But definitely encourage all of you to complete the student profile form, and that is also can be accessed on our admissions websites.
Yeah, I see that there's a question here about personal essays required. So just going off of what Lauren said, we're primarily looking at your academics. So the only two degrees and diplomas that offer or require that additional form. That is for the Bachelor of Landscape Architecture and the Diploma in Turf Grass Management. The optional form that Lauren just talked about, the student profile form, that is for students entering into any degree program. And it's not an essay, but there's certain questions. And so the form will be live shortly, and you can tell us a little bit about yourself. So as Lauren just mentioned, if you were involved in extracurriculars in high school, if there was anything that negatively affected your grades in high school, maybe if anything personal happened. So the student profile form is just a great way to tell us a little bit more about yourself. It's looked at in our third and final round of offers. It's typically for students that are within about 5% of our cutoff. So it is not mandatory, but is strongly recommended that we encourage all students to fill out the student profile form. So again, just to recap, if you're applying to Diploma in Turf Grass Management, as well as the Bachelor of Landscape Architecture, there is a mandatory form that you must fill out, the background information form. And then for students applying to any degree programs, the student profile form is optional, but it is strongly recommended. And see, there's a question there. If you're taking an honors program, can you take a minor? So I guess Lauren and I can both answer this, speaking from personal experience. So Lauren, I'll let you talk about it first.
Yeah, so majority of our programs, you definitely can add a minor. With our honors programs, the only two where you can is the Bachelor of Bioresource Management and the Bachelor of Science and Environmental Sciences. So with that said, I was in the Bachelor of Arts, as you all heard, and I definitely was able to pick up a minor in my second year. I think I chose it. So when you're applying, don't worry about a minor yet. Get to university, take a few classes, see what you like. With a minor, it's a secondary area of focus, so not as many credits are required and needed in order to graduate with that minor. And we have lots of different minors listed. They're in our view book as well as on our website, where you can kind of take a peek at what might go hand in hand with the major that you're interested in. So I recommend getting to campus, speaking with your program counselor, kind of seeing what your main area of interest is, and then you can definitely pick up a minor very easily in most of our programs.
Yeah, Lauren and I both declared minors as students. So as mentioned, I was in the Bachelor of Applied Science program. I did a major in child studies and a minor in psychology. And I really liked it because it streamlined my elective. So it was nice to have some different courses throughout my program and take courses in a different area that I was interested in. I got to have classes with students from different departments, different faculties. And the nice thing too is you can change up your minors. Maybe you take a few courses and maybe want to go maybe the sociology route, and then you realize that you actually want to take a minor in like family and child studies. So there's no prereqs that you need from high school to take a minor. There might be a certain 1000 level course that you have to take in university, but that's where you can use the resource of your program counselor and connect with them. And minors are definitely a great addition to your degree. See, there's one here, Lauren, if someone's asking about applying for co-op, how likely is it to get into co-op? So definitely lots of information that we can share about this. So I guess Lauren and I can both talk about co-op and kind of the process. So Lauren, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, definitely. So we encourage all students, if the major that you're interested in does have the co-op option, we recommend applying to co-op right from high school. Just because we have a selected amount of co-op spots, it's a lot more difficult to apply into co-op when you're here at Guelph, and then you realize that you would like to be in the co-op stream. So we definitely recommend applying to co-op right from high school, and you will be considered for the co-op stream as well as the regular stream. So don't waste 2 applications in applying to the co-op and to the non-co-op stream of the same major. For example, if you're interested in Justice and Legal Studies and you're interested in the co-op, don't waste 1 application on the co-op Justice and Legal Studies and 1 regular stream Justice and Legal Studies. Just do the co-op stream and you'll be considered for both in the admissions process. And then in terms of how likely it is, maybe Jesse, you can tackle that part.
Yeah, so with co-op, it's really based on the quality and quantity of applications that we receive each year. So as Lauren mentioned, so let's say you apply to the co-op option, but we don't have a high enough average, we will automatically consider you for the mainstream program. And then maybe let's say you come to the university in your first year and you weren't in co-op, you didn't meet the admission average right from high school, there is the opportunity for you to apply once you're in first year. It is based on space in the co-op stream as well. With co-op though, I always like to remind students that yes, it is definitely a great opportunity. There's 3 to 5 work terms, paid full-time positions, but even as a non-co-op student, Guelph really focuses on experiential learning for every Guelph Griffin. So whether that is like a placement, I did a practicum, so I had volunteer hours, I did about 12 a week and it was integrated right into my course curriculum. I got to work at Sick Kids, which is a children's hospital in Toronto. And then I had the opportunity to shadow a behavioral therapist when I worked for a different developmental company. So there's lots of ways to get that experience. You can also access the career services. I was able to perform a mock interview. My resume was looked at. I attended job fairs. So there's a lot of services that you can still access as a non-co-op student. We have about 3,000 students that are enrolled in our co-op program. And so I always like to advise students that yes, co-op is a great option, but know that there are so many other ways to get that hands-on work experience.
That's great. And then just tacking onto that, how do you apply for co-op out of high school? So on your OUAC application, there will be an option there to select the co-op stream. So it should be straightforward there, but definitely feel free to email us at any time if you have any difficulties, but it will be accessible on your application through the Ontario University's Application Center online.
Yeah. And maybe, Lauren, before we get to this next question here, we should maybe just quickly talk about OUAC and grade submission for BC students this year.
Yeah, definitely. So as I mentioned, you will apply through the Ontario University's Application Center. And then all grade data new this year, British Columbia schools will submit grade data electronically to the OUAC. So when you apply, all you have to do is check a little box that says that you authorize your ministry to release your grades. You have to put in your PEN number, and that's a number that you'll get from your guidance counselor. It's just like a unique number that gives you kind of like a different identification on OUAC, but very straightforward there. If you have any questions about that number, definitely connect with your guidance office. And we just have to make sure that all grade data is in by April 15th, 2021, but that'll be more for your guidance counselors to be worried about. So OUAC, Ontario University's Application Center, is how you apply.
Perfect. And there's a question here about options for double majors. So this one does vary. It's based on which program you're looking at. So I would say within our Bachelor of Arts, the most flexible degree program that we have, a double major is possible. The biggest difference between a major and a minor is a major is going to be your main focus of study, and majority of your courses are going to fall under that discipline. It's a bit tricky to do a double major in some of our other degree programs just because of the core requirements. So for example, in our engineering program, there are so many specific courses that you need to take within, let's say, computer engineering. It would be very difficult to do a double major in like computer engineering and environmental engineering. So typically students will do that combination of the major and the minor, where the minor is a smaller subset of courses. So to answer that, essentially, if you're looking at arts, yes, a double major is possible, but for any of our other degree programs, it would take a lot longer than 4 years, and it's typically not as advised just from our guidance and our program counselors, just because it does take so long, and yeah, it's a better fit to do a major and a minor combination.
And if you're unsure when you get to the U of G, definitely take advantage of your program counselors. They are the experts in the different programs, so they can kind of guide you in a direction if you know that you have an interest in one area or the other, and they're there to really support you and to kind of bring you on that path and potentially picking up a minor that goes with your major.
I see here there's a question about applying to 2 programs at Guelph on the OUAC. So with application fees, so for out-of-province students, so you're considered a 105. So you will be paying $156, and that gives you 3 choices on OUAC. So that could be maybe 3 programs at Guelph, maybe that's 2 programs at Guelph, 1 program at another school, and then for every additional school or program, it's going to be $50. But it is $156, and you have to apply for a minimum of 3 choices.
Really great questions. Thanks for sending all these in. I guess while we're waiting for any others to come in, we'll just remind you that there's other ways to stay in touch. So following us on social media, as well as we have Fall Preview Day coming up on Sunday, November 8th, a great way to get more of an in-depth focus into each of our degree programs. So we'll have all of our program counselors there. They'll speak on the different degree programs and also student services, and then also one-on-one bookings. That's a really great way to get in touch with me and kind of just chat about anything that I may not have covered today. Jessie, maybe you can touch on your webinar series as well.
Yeah, so I'm hosting a webinar series because we know as much as the admission and the finance piece is a really big part of university, and obviously the academic program that you'll be choosing should be #1 on your list when looking at universities. But I also like to remind students that not only are you choosing a school for the next 4 years, but you're also choosing a home. And it's really important to consider factors such as the city, especially for out-of-province students. Like you're moving across the country and some of you may have never been to Ontario before. It's also important to look at the support that we have for students, helping you with with that transition from high school to university. So I will be hosting a weekly webinar series to address some of these topics. Tomorrow, we're actually having one all with the city of Guelph. So it'll be at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So it'll be 3 o'clock for students on the West Coast. And I would encourage you to join live if you're able to. If not, it'll be posted on our website and you can watch after. But just a great way to learn about some other factors that will play a part in your decision when you're looking at post-secondary.
Thanks, Jessie. Just another question here. Is it likely that classes will be online next fall? Unfortunately, I can't really predict what next fall is going to look like. There's still a lot of unknowns with COVID-19 and everything going on. So with that said, I do recommend, again, just following us on social media and our admissions page. And we will be sure to update you with any information that we have. There hasn't been any really decisions come out right now for next fall. So just continue to follow us there and we will be sure to let you know as soon as we have a decision. But great question.
We're just in a bit of a holding pattern right now because we want to make sure that we have the most information to make a well-informed decision. It's just a bit too early at this point. And we have made the decision for winter of 2021 that majority of classes will still be online to protect the safety and the health of our students. But what I'd also like to say is that it's a trial and error this year with the online studies, and our library and academic partners have been doing an incredible job adapting to this new environment. And we're actually going to be hosting a webinar. It's planned for about mid-December, and it's going to be a panel where we're going to have different departments on campus join one of these sessions, and they're going to talk about how they've supported students in this virtual environment. So what sessions has the library run to still provide those academic resources, such as supporting learning groups and writing services. We're going to have a professor talk about how they had virtual office hours. So I would encourage you to attend that session as well. It hasn't been posted on our website yet. We're still in the details of planning it, but that's something to definitely attend to see what we've done to support our students in this virtual environment. I know it's probably a bit different than you were planning, especially when you're looking at post-secondary, but know that we're doing everything we can to still provide that best experience for our students.
Great, thanks, Jessie. I think that might be it for questions. But again, just thank you all so much for joining our presentation and webinar tonight. Definitely go continue to check us out on admission.uguelph.ca, and under our events tab, you'll see all of our upcoming events, and that's how you can register for all of those. And thanks again, Jessie, for supporting, and hopefully we will be seeing you on campus next year. If you happen to see us, definitely come over and say hi.
Perfect. Thanks so much, everyone. All the best.
Thank you. Take care.